Greetings, y'all. This is Tapper97, and today we'll be doing the tutorial for the Obiani spin, aka the behind the back spin. Okay, now, as you see, I'll be using a Tai Chi sword. I am currently practicing with this at the moment, trying to learn forms and such, but that's for another day. Now, for the Obiani spin. Now, before I get into this tutorial, I would just like to say this. Now, I remember when I first started learning the Obiani spin, like when I would look up tutorials, they would always say, of course, like you should start in this position here. Now, what they want you to do is, they want you to drop the sword as if you're doing an inverted figure eight. Now, of course, you're gonna let it drop and bring it back here. And after that, most tutorial videos will tell you to bring it behind the back, much like this ordeal here. Now, I'm not saying it's not a way to go, but I will say this as a guy who was a beginner doing this at first, and for all the other beginners that are watching this video and learning how to do the Obiani and or the behind the back spin, I just deemed that maybe a little bit more difficult for someone to flow with. And then, you know, while they got it behind the back, they would say drop it, of course, and of course keep it going. But the way I feel about this, now like I said, this ain't wrong, but I just feel like for beginners, maybe to some, that it might be a little bit more difficult, and I seem like it's easier for someone who already has to move down, to put it that way. But to make it easier, if that doesn't work for you, here's another way of approaching it. Of course, same movement. You're gonna drop the sword down much like so, and you're gonna let it spin and come back. And then when you go for the behind the back, instead of doing this number here, if that just doesn't work for you, go with this number here. So you're gonna drop it, and then what you wanna do is just kind of whirl it around here and bring it back. You could do it slow at first if the first movement doesn't go, because I'm gonna tell you what's eventually gonna happen. As you get faster, as you see, as I'm slightly speeding it up, it looks downward. It don't look like the Obiani just yet. But this is how I figured out the movement. And then next thing you know, as you're speeding up, that twirl you're doing downward, and what the momentum you putting behind it is eventually gonna look like this. You know, that was the way I learned it. Because what I found weird was the simple fact that I could do it with my left hand first before I even learned it with my right. So try that ordeal first and then move on. That'd be the tutorial.